what's nice about this. Okay, you gotta get down a little bit more. There you are. We're down a little bit more. Okay, we're in there. I like it. Ah, pecs across. There you go. Ring. Okay.
Where do you want to behind that?
Let's go right behind the tube straight in. Now another ring.
It's beautiful.
And then a ring.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's kind of backtrack here for a second and go over what we did here. This is our cold and hot water lines from the existing existing pedestal that we tore out. We teed off of them. These are our PEX tees right here and right here. And all we did with the tee was we split the cold water and the hot water to go left and right because we've got a vanity on both sides. Pedestal on both sides. So we split the hot, which is always on the left. We came over and we went to the left side drop ear right here, right up to the bottom with the crimp ring, and that gave us our hot water on the left side of this pedestal. We came off the other side of the hot tea and we went over and we came up and we did hot water on the left side of that pedestal sink. Did the same with the cold water, which is on the right. Okay, the right supply line is the cold water. We split it with our tea. We used our PEX tea. We used our 1/2-inch crimp rings. We went left, went up to the right side of this pedestal sink. Went to the drop ear with a crimp ring. All right, and both of these drop ears were put on with 1.25-inch drywall screws at 22 inches up off the floor. And our drain, incidentally, is 18 inches centered up off the floor. So you know the location of the rough in on that. 18 off the floor to the center of the drain line, 1.5-inch drain line, and 22 inches, in this case, to our supply lines. Now these could have been up 24, they could have been up 25. I don't suggest going any lower than 22, but that's where it worked out for us here in this bathroom. Did the exact same thing on the other side. All right, we split the cold water at the T. We went to the right side of this shutoff over here, or to the drop ear where the shutoff's going to be, and we crimped it on there, and that completed the splitting of the cold water. All right, these are all PEX fittings using 1/2-inch PEX line with 1/2-inch PEX crimp rings, and these are 1/2-inch female drop ears. All right, right now we're threading 3-inch chrome nipples, 1/2-inch chrome nipples into. Now, this is going to be the finished nipple. Eventually it's going to have a shutoff on it. Right now we're putting temporary caps on, and that's where Tom's at right now.
Yep, I'm gonna putting the nipples on this side. Whenever you put the Teflon tape, you have to use Teflon tape on your threads. I'm starting my Teflon tape and I'm turning my object in my hand clockwise. It has to be done this direction. Reason being, I'm going around there 1, 2, 3 times. Watch when I stop. When I stop and turn my tape that direction, now when I screw it into my nipple, it's actually going to tighten it around my tape. Yeah, once again, we'll show you this. I'm taking my nipple out. I'm going to Teflon tape both sides. I'm actually going to take my Teflon tape right here. I'm going to hold it on the thread and just pinch it with my thumb. And I'm going to go around as though I'm turning this clockwise. The direction that a clock turns. I'm going to go around here. This is extra blue tape, so I'm only going to go around it like 4 times. 2, 3, and then here comes number 4, which is more than enough with this monster tape. Turning the object in my hand clockwise. There's 1 turn. Every 2 half turns it counts a turn. There's 3 turns. Keep your tape as flat as you can on there. And I'm pulling my tape even too. I mean, I'm actually stretching it where it's ripping, gonna rip itself off. And then just complete that by throwing it in your nipple. My hand, here we go, but I got these nipples here. It's a cap, that's gonna be what holds our water in here for today. Now I'm gonna put my cap on there. All right, now that's how I'm actually gonna tighten the cap, which is gonna thread the nipple in. I'm actually gonna do everything with this cap, because this cap is gonna be removed, but my chrome nipple is not. So right now it's just turning the cap, now it's starting to turn the back nipple. So just by me grinding on this cap, it's doing both things.
Tightening the cap on, it's also twisting the nipple into the drop here
Yeah.
at the same time. We'll take these caps off in about 3 or 4 days after the drywall's hung and finished, and then we'll put our permanent shutoffs on there. All right, I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so down here, what we're going to do is on the end of the nipple, right now we're putting temporary caps on, but we'll take them off. See, these are threaded 1/2 inch. These will then get threaded on there in place of the caps once the drywall's finished. But for now, we're going to keep these in a safe place and just use these temporary 1/2 inch caps. And the reason we're putting these caps on is we're going to turn the water back on in about 10 minutes. And these lines are going to fill with water, and we're going to need the caps on there to keep the pressure in the pipes so that the homeowner can use the kitchen and the bathrooms and the rest of the house until we get the shutoffs put on. Alright, so we're actually going to pressurize these pipes, fill them with water, and make sure that we do not have any leaks in any of our PEX unions at the elbows or at the drop ears, any place that we have these crimp brands down here at the T's. We're going to be looking to see if any of these unions are leaking. They shouldn't be, but we're going to fill them with water, pressurize them, and make sure they're not. And that way we know that once we hang the drywall, we won't have any leaks behind and inside our walls. Alright, so I always like to pressure test my pipes before drywall to make sure all the connections are solid. Alright, and by the way, this is a 1/2 inch female thread. This is a thread on shutoff, and it's an angle up shutoff, meaning the discharge is angled up towards the ceiling. Alright, it goes on like this, the water comes in the side, and then it angles up to the shutoff, which goes up to the sink. So this is a 1/2 inch thread on, 3/8 inch supply shutoff. Right? And these can be found at Home Depot.